Testing, testing. Hello, everybody. How's it going this fine Sunday afternoon? I hope you guys are all doing well. We're having a fantastic weekend. Today, we have thoughts and questions. We have experiments for the Fortune Lady deck. It is our job, nay, our unique duty altogether, to come together and find new and better ways to make Fortune Ladies an unignorable archetype. Our grand goal is one day, someone else will also play the Fortune Ladies. You run into 5 million Blue Eyes White Dragon decks, and 5 million Dark Magician decks. You run into Yubel decks. You run into Twin decks. I've run into several Zootropic decks ever since they did that recent, the new deck. Not deck. Booster pack they put in here. And all of a sudden there was a bunch of Zootropic people. XYZ summoning all over the place, like, calm down. All XYZ, what about your ABCs? What happened to all the other letters in the alphabet, you know? But no. You have all these decks. But does anybody ever spare a simple thought to the Fortune Lady? Well, let me tell you. They will. So, first things first. As I said in the title, we have some restructuring to do. Let's go over first what we're going to be restructuring. Let's click under deck. My usual Fortune Lady is called Duelist Cup because this is where I first solidified it, you know? Let's run through what we have so far. What we've got is 1 Fortune Lady Light, 3 Fortune Lady Pasts, 1 Fortune Fairy Hickory, 1 Fortune Lady Fire, 3 Core of Chaos, 2 Fortune Lady Wind, 3 Mental Tuner, 2 Fortune Lady Water, 1 Solitaire Magician, 3 Chaos Witch, 2 Chaos Witch, sorry, 3 Shell of Chaos, 3 Fortune Lady Dark, 2 Fortune Fairy On, 2 Fortune Lady Earth, 1 Monster Reborn, 1 Change of Heart, 1 Gold Sarcophagus, 2 Fortune's Future, 3 Fortune Lady Calling, 2 Aqua Chorus Round, 3 Fortune Vision, 1 Just Desserts, 1 Mirror Force, and 2 Fortune Lady Rewind. And after I'm done going through the extra deck, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page, I'm going to do a quick rundown about what each card does, because it occurred to me the other day. Most people don't play with Fortune Ladies. I run through all these cards real fast. Most of you guys gonna see this? You're gonna be drawing a blank. And like, do you really want in this video to hunt down like what each card specifically does? Probably not. You know, this is a not well used archetype. It doesn't have that many use cases. I mean, I'm over here trying to MacGyver together a decently, competitive deck. Whereas most of your current things most people play on, you don't have to do that. they come out the box good. You know, you don't have to get weird with it to make them work. So, we're going to do a run through real quick after we go through the extra deck. So, starting with our level 5, we have our Synchro Summon, Ally of Justice, Catastror, the Executor of the Underworld, Pluto, Red Wyvern, 3 Chaos Beast, 1 Black Rose Dragon, 2 Fortune Lady Every, 1 Chaos Archfiend, 1 Ruddy Rose Dragon, 1 Chaos Angel, 1 Sky Striker Ace Zeke, and 1 Sky Striker Ace Azalea. Let's run through real quick what each of these cards does. First things first, Fortune Lady Light. If you are unfamiliar with the Fortune Lady archetype, they have this very specific, kind of weird thing going on. They don't have an attack or defense. Instead, they have a specific level they start at, and their attack and defense are its level times a number. For Fortune Lady Light, it's 1 times 200. So, out the gate, its attack and defense are both 200. Now, each Fortune Lady, aside from that, has an additional effect. So, for Fortune Lady Light, once per turn during your standby phase... Oh, okay, ignore that. That's the level going up. When the card leaves the field by card effect, you can special summon 1 Fortune Lady monster from the deck. Now, I have noticed from time to time that Fortune Lady Light is really tricky in actually activating. So, it's kind of iffy to, rely on it. If you do want to use Fortune Lady Light and have that work, there is a card called, I believe, Slip of Fortune. It's a trap, not unlike, your Mirror Forces or your Harpy's Feather Dusters. But with this one, it takes a card and it temporarily places it, out of play. And then it comes back. And that will semi-ish regularly trigger Fortune Lady Light to summon something else from the deck. But, I will say, one of my first runs of a Fortune Lady deck relied on Fortune Lady Light and the Slip of Fortune. Let me tell you, that 2-card 1-2 punch is not worth it. In fact, it's not even a punch, it's more of a whimper. Because first things first, you have to get the Lady Light in your hand. Then you have to get Slip of Fortune also in your hand. Then on the actual, floor, on the field. And then you have to have the activation go off without a hitch. Let me tell you, in this world of ash blossoms and haunted manors, not very easy to do. There's so many stops where that strategy can break down. So that's why we only have 1 Fortune Lady Light here. Okay. Next up, the Fortune Lady's Past. Second verse, same as the first. Level times 200, Fortune Lady Past. Its attack and defense, basically identical to Fortune Lady Light. Thankfully, Fortune Lady Past is infinitely better. So, first of all, she's a tuner. So much better. Because Fortune Ladies... Well, okay, originally they weren't Synchro Summon, but during the second release, where they added more Fortune Ladies, they added Fortune Lady Every, which we will get to. And she is the powerhouse of the archetype. And Fortune Lady Past is how you get there. Especially because Fortune Lady's secondary effect, this past here, Fortune Lady Past, you can target a Fortune Lady monster you control. Banish any number of spellcaster monsters, so it's non-specific. It doesn't have to be other Fortune Ladies, which is fantastic. One thing this archetype really needs is more cards that have crossover between not just Fortune Ladies, but spellcasters in general. especially if they're not going to release more Fortune Lady cards, which I don't think they will. So, even if you don't have, say, the correct number necessarily of other monsters on the field to make a proper synchro summon, you can take any amount of spellcasters, and if you build a spellcaster deck, you'll have just an absolute glut of things to choose from. And you can banish them to up or lower the levels of this monster. Majorly useful. Especially this secondary thing. This is something most people don't really pay attention to. When you hear about people building Fortune Lady decks, and they're doing, like, talking about the archetype and ways you can do this, they always talk about card milling. They miss out on the back half of this statement. It's banishment. You banish monsters with this. Fortune Ladies are a terrible card mill. They're slow as shit. They're pretty darn weak, so you're probably going to lose most of your things first turn if you focus just on Fortune Ladies. But right there, banishment. That is something that we can work with. And we will get farther into that once we start talking more about the other cards here. So, Fortune Fairy Hickory. An odd choice here. Fortune Fairies and Fortune Ladies both came from the same character in the anime. It both came from the Carly Carmine character in 5Ds. And originally, she had the Fortune Fairies, and then she got, what do we want to say? Is this a terrible joke? Okay, if this is a bad joke, I'm gonna cut this out. So, she kind of got, like, reverse 9/11'd out of a building, died, got turned into an immortal Aztec god zombie, and her Fortune Fairies, Digimon devolved into the Fortune Ladies. So her Fortune Fairy Hickory is technically speaking Fortune Lady Light. Or did I say Fortune? Yeah, Fortune Fairy Hickory. They are technically the same creature. Which is all great and all for lore, but what this does for us is it has some effects that we might like that are sort of related to what Fortune Lady Light does. So, Fortune Lady Light lets you summon Fortune Ladies from your deck. Fortune Fairy Hickory, well, first of all, it has its own special effect. Its attack and defense are 0, flat. But when you draw it into your hand, you can immediately summon it. It's special summon. You get it for free. If you do that, and only if you do that, if you draw it, so you don't want a full deck of these, you want these sprinkled in, so that you don't, like, end up with them in your hand. You can target a monster you control and send it to the graveyard. If you do, special summon one level 1 spellcaster from your deck. Let me tell you, I've been thinking about this. Fortune Fairy Hickory, fantastic way, possibly, of getting Fortune Lady passed onto the field. Because they're both level 1 Fortune, spellcasters. And you can just, like, special summon Hickory, send Hickory to the graveyard. You don't need it, you don't want it. It doesn't have any, like, attack or defense. It can't help you with anything, except for this effect. Bring in Fortune Lady passed for free. I think it's decent. Anyways, I only have one of those. Next, we have Fortune Lady Fire. For this one, I can consider her more of like a... She's kind of like a backup strategy. Fortune Lady Fire and Fortune Lady Wind are kind of weird in my deck. We'll get to why. So, cards with effective attack and defense times 200. Interesting thing here is just that we start at level 2 and not level 1, which means instead of the 200, it's 400 across the board. Now, if this card is special summoned in attack position by the effect of a Fortune Lady card, target one face-up monster your opponent controls, destroy that target, and if you do, inflict damage to your opponent equal to the destroyed monster's attack on the field. This is cool as shit. It's just like, press the no button. It's great. It's fantastic. Big problem. Just because Ooh, special summoned in attack position specifically by a Fortune Lady card. Now, if this was just special summoned, that'd be great. This is just, it's a monster that you can treat like a spell card or a trap card, you know? It's fantastic. It has multiple use cases, and because it's a monster, you can use it for tribute summoning, synchro summoning, presumably link summoning. You could do that, but you can't because it specifies Fortune Lady card. And we'll get into, there's not that many Fortune Lady cards that, like, special summon. Next up, Core of Chaos. This is one of our first cards that is not any way, shape, or form a Fortune Lady or a Spellcaster. But they do connect, and you'll see why. First things first, the Chaos duo, Core of Chaos, Shell of Chaos, cannot be normal summoned or set. They have to be special summoned by card effect. They have to be special summoned by its own card effect, or technically, Chaos Beast, I guess, would count, but we're not talking about him yet. Now, if this card would leave the field, you have to banish instead. So you see this is a banishment all around. This is all about banishment. Same as Fortune Lady Past. So you can only use one of the effects of Core of Chaos once per turn. If you have Core of Chaos in your hand, you can banish a dark monster from your hand or your graveyard. That's how you summon this card. It is the only way you summon this card, is by banishing a dark monster from your hand or graveyard. If you do that, you can put it on the field, and when it's on the field, you can bring Shell of Chaos back onto the field, or just onto the field in general. Like, it can come forward, your Shell of Chaos. They're kind of 1-2 punches, because Shell of Chaos and Core of Chaos are light and dark respectively, so they meet each other's requirements. If you have Shell of Chaos and Core of Chaos in your hand simultaneously, you can just, for free, summon both of them using each other's effects, and then immediately jump into a synchro summon for Chaos Beast. It's fantastic. Now there is a caveat in here, which is, let me see. You cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck for the rest of the turn except for light or dark synchro monsters. Now, for me, not much of a big problem. Most of my monsters fall into light or dark, especially in my extra deck. But there are some use cases where maybe you have like a trick card or like a real strong card that you like that you wouldn't be able to summon if you use these guys. Here's something to keep in mind. Next up, Fortune Lady Wind. Another card like Fortune Lady Fire that has, more use cases, more of a trap card, spell card deal than a monster card. So, attack and defense, level times 300. So off the gate, you have 900 across the board. Now, when this card is normal summoned, not special summoned, it has to be normal summoned. You have to use up your one normal summon in order to bring this out. You can destroy spells and traps your opponent controls equal to the number of Fortune Lady monsters you control. This actually does have use. Unlike Fortune Lady Fire, where the use case is like really, really specific, Fortune Lady Wind is so broad that, honestly, she's great. She's weak, I'll be honest, she's weak. She doesn't, necessarily help you bring out more monsters on the field. But that one thing of destroying spells and traps can be so useful. So useful right off the gate, Especially if you, needed to throw her out anyways. It's just a little sprinkle of something nice. Now, Mental Tuner. If you couldn't guess from the name, this is a tuner. Has 2 effects. Banish up to 1 light and 1 dark monster from your hand or graveyard. Increase or decrease this level by the exact number banishment until the end of the turn. So this is like Fortune Lady Past. Except instead of Fortune Ladies, it's specifically light or dark monsters. Second effect, target up to 2 of your banished monsters, 1 light and or 1 dark. Return them to the graveyard. If you do, increase or decrease this card's level by the exact number returned until the end of this turn. So, we see here, banishment and pulling out of banishment. A back and forth with the mental tuner. Plus, he's 3-star, which makes it pretty easy to use him to jump off to a bunch of different synchros in the back. And, man, you gotta love that 2000 defense on a 3-star monster. That's fantastic. If you, run out of, you don't have much in your hand, you really want to throw up a defense, you just set this guy. You set this guy because you don't need him off the gate, not really. He's really, most of his effects don't show up until, you have somebody else on the field. So you can just leave him in defense and flip him back up if you need him, or he can just tank something for you. Now, 2 Fortune Lady Waters. Level 4, attack defense becomes level times 300. So you have 2 what? Hold on, let me bust out my calculator, the numbers are getting too big. I'm bad at math on the fly. Okay. 300 times 4. Okay, alright, yeah. So it's 1,200 becomes base across the board, which is better, but still not great. That's still gonna get toasted by most things on the field. Now let's look at the the secondary effects. If this card is special summoned while you have a Fortune Lady monster, except for Fortune Lady Water, draw 2 cards. This is where people get the card milling from. Most people who play Fortune Ladies go hard into Fortune Lady Water. So this is where they get that from. And that's her main use. Solitaire Magician. She is, interesting enough, not a Fortune Lady herself. Several Fortune Lady effects will exclude Solitaire Magician, but she has effects that are about Fortune Ladies. So she's weird. So, once per turn, select 1 Fortune Lady monster you control and 1 other face-up monster on the field. Reduce the level of the selected Fortune Lady monster by 3 and destroy the other monster. Pretty straightforward, I would say. Now, Chaos Witch. You contribute this card. Special summon 2 Dark Beast tokens, Fiend, Dark, level 2. If this card is banished from the hand or the graveyard, you can special summon 2 Light Beast tokens, Fairy, Tuner, Light, level 2. You can only use 1 Chaos Witch effect per turn, and only once that turn. Also, you cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck, except for Light or Dark Synchro monsters. This turn you activated either effect. So she's kind of like a jack of all trades. She's a spellcaster, so Fortune Lady Past can use her. Also, she's kind of got this dual thing. She can bring out regular monsters if you have tuners, or she can bring in tuners if you only have regular monsters. It goes kind of back and forth. Especially from the hand or the graveyard, if you already have Mental Tuner, or if you have Fortune Lady Past, banishing Chaos Witch is pretty easy. That's not even getting into, the spell cards that I have here that banish as well. So, next thing's next. Shell of Chaos. We already talked about this guy more or less, because we talked about Core of Chaos. They're basically the same thing. They're really just vessels for summoning each other. One thing just to note is that this one has 1600 attack, and the other one had 0 attack and 1600 defense. So, make of that what you will. Fortune Lady Dark. Attack and defense, it's level times 400. It has 5 levels, so that means across the board, it has 2,000 attack and defense across the board. Finally! Hallelujah! We have a Fortune Lady that out the gate has decent attack and defense. And it's a level 5. So, kind of a pain in the ass to bring on. Alright, let's get to the second effects. When your Fortune Lady monster destroys an opponent's monster by battle and sends it to the graveyard, you can target 1 Fortune Lady monster in your graveyard, special summon it. This effect sounds phenomenal. I would love to use it sometime. It's great. I love it. I just, it's kind of a pain in the ass. because Fortune Lady Dark is only 5 stars. So in order to summon it, you either have to go the slow tribute route, or you have to burn a Fortune Lady Calling, and Fortune Lady Calling is cool. But you know what's cooler than using Fortune Lady Calling to summon Fortune Lady Dark? Using Fortune Lady Calling to summon a monster so you can synchro for Fortune Lady every. Honestly, it's in like the worst middle ground, where this would be a phenomenal monster if it could be at its same strength and be either summonable from the hand or be easier to summon, like off the bat, but it's not. And for the effort it takes to bring Fortune Lady Dark onto the field, you can get better. Which sucks, because this is a cool card. I'd love to use it more often, you know? Target, you just, like, bringing Fortune Ladies back on the field, that's phenomenal. That's an amount of, like, that's an amount of getting Fortune Ladies to bring each other onto the field that you don't really get from this archetype. Like, not really. Like, okay, imagine if you had, like, an effect that let it attack multiple times. So you attack and destroy multiple monsters, and then you get to bring multiple Fortune Ladies onto the field in one fell swoop. That'd be so powerful. That'd be so strong. And to be honest, you might think, oh, isn't that overpowered? But if you think about it, the Fortune Ladies are kind of underpowered. So it kind of balances out with the current meta, because, okay, so you're special summoning. Say you end up special summoning Fortune Lady Fire. Wow, you've just, I don't know, nuked one of the monsters. That's pretty normal. Or you special summoned Fortune Lady Water. It's like, wow, you draw 2 cards. And, like, that's not out there. Not with the amount of, like, 1 turn, 2 turn, 3 turn KOs you get from people who are stringing together special summons and link summons, you know? It's not bad at all. The problem is just harnessing it. You don't really get there very frequently, which is disappointing. So, Fortune Lady Dark ramble over, let's talk about Fortune Lady Dark's predecessor, Fortune Fairy On. So, second first, same as the first, just like how Fortune Lady Hickory lets you, summon it from draw, and it has an effect. This one's the same way, only the effect is, you can banish 1 spellcaster monster from the deck. That's it. It's a banishment card. You can see we're getting a theme going here. It's all about the banishment. Now, here's one of my favorites. Everybody clap for Fortune Lady Earth! Woo! Fortune Lady Earth, everybody! Alright, okay. So, level times 400. So, 6 times 400. It is 2,400 across the board. That's real good. Like, okay, it's pretty, no, it's pretty good, especially for the archetype. It's pretty fantastic. For other cards, that's a little, might be underpowered for what could be considered one of the aces. But it's pretty alright, especially considering if you can keep them on the field for multiple times. We have not actually, like, touched on this because most of the Fortune Ladies are pretty weak. The level keeps increasing each turn. Each turn, it goes up. So, Fortune Lady Earth is 2,400 across the board. Unless she survives to the next turn. And then she's 2,800. Just a couple steps away from 3,000, which for most decks is considered the upper cap of, like, power. If she survives again, she's 3,200. She keeps going up, you know? It's the same thing with Fortune Lady Dark and all the other ones. It's just, it's like world's worst snowball, you know? A lot of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not about the slow burn. It's about the immediate, the quick. But if you can keep these guys on the field long enough, they become just obnoxiously strong. Especially Fortune Lady Earth's special, like, you know, side effect is that every time the level increases, every time you hit that standby phase, they take 400 damage. Which is just, it's great. It's phenomenal. It's adding insult to injury when you have a Fortune Lady Earth on the field, and everybody's going up in level, and they just have to sit there as your like effects are going through. And oh, by the way, here's a little salt in that wound, 400 damage. That caps out most of our monsters, aside from the extra deck. Let's talk about the spells. This won't take long. Monster Reborn. Everybody knows Monster Reborn. It's not special. Here it is. Yay! Change of Heart card. I don't know why, but I assumed that like Jar of Greed, or part of Greed, the Greed Tupperware, I thought Change of Heart was banned. I thought it was illegal. It's not. It's not even number capped like Gold Sarcophagus or Monster Reborn. You can have 3 of these in your deck. The biggest pain in the ass is just getting the ultra rare points to do that. But yeah, we've got this here because, especially with how weak this deck is, having a Change of Heart card is just, it can be helpful. It's not a crutch because we don't have that many of them to really have a crutch here. But if it comes up and you see it, it's nice, especially you can use it as like a summoning thing. If you have like a tuner, or you need a tuner, or you need something in order to like bring out one of your bigger monsters and you don't want to use one of your guys, or you don't have the time to bring up one of your guys, or you just want to fuck with what they have going on, the opponent, you can use Change of Heart card. It's free. Next up, I just mentioned it, Gold Sarcophagus. I see nobody using this card. I am like the only person who uses it. I don't know why, but it works for us. It is banish 1 card from your deck, face up. During your second standby phase after this card's activation, add that card to hand. Is this slow? Yes. Is this a deck search for anything and everything you could possibly want? Yes. Does this have synergy with a shit bunch of things in our deck? Also, yes. You see that second standby phase? You see that timer? That timer can be irrelevant if you have an effect that relies on things being in banishment. This could be a free monster card if you use it right. Okay. Next step. Fortune's Future. Spell card. Target one of your banished Fortune Lady monsters. Return it to the graveyard. Then draw 2 cards. Hey, speak of the devil of things we might want from banishment. Say Fortune Lady Pass banishes somebody, or Mental Tuner banishes somebody, or Fortune Lady On banishes somebody, or Gold Sarcophagus banishes somebody. Somebody banishes some Fortune Lady somewhere. Whoops, I got 2 more cards out of that. This is, honestly, this has more use than you think it would, because this is nice if you get shitty hands. It's just free drawing cards, and it doesn't take that much. It just takes a handful of effects. And by returning a banished monster to the graveyard, you free it up to get banished a second time, which is really useful, especially with the effects of Fortune Lady Every. It's free real estate. Okay, the MVP of this deck, and every single Fortune Lady deck ever, Fortune Lady Calling. If you control a Fortune Lady monster, special summon 1 Fortune Lady monster from your deck with a different name from the cards you control. Also, for the rest of this turn, after this card resolves, you cannot special summon monsters from the deck, except synchro monsters. You can only activate 1 Fortune Lady Calling per turn. This is the main shit. I'm not kidding. This is one of the only search cards for Fortune Ladies. And Fortune Ladies really needs a search card. Especially nowadays, most decks don't really have search cards so much as the monsters themselves search for each other. Fortune Ladies are, I guess, I'm not sure if they're too old and that wasn't, like, in vogue yet. But they don't do that for each other. Not really. This does that for them. And it runs into the same similar sort of pain in the ass that Slip of Fortune and Fortune Lady Light have, where it's a 2-card setup at least, and that the amount of luck just to make sure that you get this in your hand together with what you need can be a major pain in the ass. And it can really make or break, like, your whole game here. Thankfully, we're gonna get to it in a second, but there's another card that can help with this. It's not this one, though. We're gonna talk about Aqua Chorus Round. Here we go. Banish 1 card from the hand. If you do, during your next standby phase, add up to 2 cards with the same name as the banished card to your hand. If you activate this card while your opponent controls no card, for the rest of the turn you cannot activate cards or the effect of cards with the same original name as that banished card. So, kind of ignored the second half of that, because your opponent controlling no cards isn't really, unless you're turn 1, even then if you're turn 1, I don't think you're gonna do much, because it's just the first turn. But really what this is this is another banishment mill. And a nice bonus, it nets you more cards in your hand the next turn. Okay. This is the card that saves your bacon if you didn't get a card you needed in your hand. Fortune Vision. When this card is activated, you can add 1 Fortune Lady card from your deck to your hand. Separately, once per turn, if a card you control is banished by card effect, except during the banish step, you can activate this effect. This turn, monsters you control cannot be destroyed by card effects. Once per turn, if a card your opponent controls is banished by card effect, you can make the next battle damage you take this turn become 0, even if this card leaves the field. So, if you banish your monsters can't take damage. If you banish their monsters, you don't take any damage. It's just all around nice. It's good. It synergizes as well. This is what I was talking about. Well, this is related to what I was talking about earlier, how Fortune Ladies isn't really a card mill. There are some other cards in Fortune Ladies that can help you mill cards, but oh my god, is that like a stupid thing to do. Especially competitively. It's moronic. Because all this synergizes so well with banishment. Okay. Next up, just desserts. This is just for those pains in the ass who, like, fill up their monsters, like, 1 to 2 turns in. It's a trap. It inflicts 500 damage to your opponent for each monster they control. It's just punishment. That's all it is. Next up, Mirror Force. When an opponent's monster declares an attack, destroy your opponent's attack position monsters. That's it. It's just here. Now, this is one of our last important main deck cards. Fortune Lady Rewind. Trap card. Target any number of your banished Fortune Lady monsters with different names. Special summon them, but shuffle them into the deck during the end phase. So, all those banished Fortune Ladies, we're like, okay, surprise, they're back. Also, they go back in the deck, so they're back into play again after. Though, really, with this deck, if something's banished, it's not that much out of play, but it brings them back. And this is great. They don't have to go back into the deck. They can go to the graveyard if you pull off this card, and then you use them for a synchro summon, or a link summon, or a tribute summon. You just use them for something else. You know, there's ways to get around that if you don't want them in the deck, and then you can use them again. Pretty useful. Next up, Castor. This guy mostly is the plug holes. I was interested in this effect here. I haven't gone to use it. Though if this card battles a face-up non-dark monster, destroy that monster. Just out the gate. Sounded interesting. Pluto! This is also a filler card. Once per turn, you can banish 1 monster from your graveyard, then target 1 effect monster on the field. Change it to face-down defense position. This is a quick effect if the Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field or in either graveyard. You can banish this card from your graveyard. Add 1 Sanctuary to the Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck or your graveyard to your hand. So, for us, Ignore Sanctuary in the Sky. I have not even looked at what that card is or what that card does. What that is more important is this whole thing where you can banish monsters and change their position, and it's got this 2,300 attack. It's a decent filler, you know? It's what it is. Also, it's a tuner. So, if you need it, if it's helpful, you can spring this guy out here, banish a monster, and then, surprise, you're summoning. Here I go. Now, Red Wyvern. This one is a bit of a favorite. It's not a favorite, but it's a solid third place, you know? Its thing here is just tuners and non-tuner monsters, so it's not that special. It's only level 6, so it's not hard to get. And if any monster has a higher attack than this one, you can just delete them. It's just a card of delete, which is great. Next up, Chaos Beasts. This is where the Shell of Chaos and the Core of Chaos come in. If any cards have been banished, it goes from a 2,000 attack to a 3,000 attack. It can target any one of your banished light or dark monsters and add to the hand, so if you have like 2 turns with this, you can bring your Shell of Chaos and Core of Chaos back to your hand, and then for free summon a second Chaos Beast if you want to. Let me see. During your main phase, except the turn this card was sent to the graveyard, you can banish 1 light or 1 dark monster from your hand and or graveyard except this card, special summon this card from the graveyard. So, there you go. More banishment. Next up, Black Rose Dragon! Woo! Okay, first things first, Shrunk card. Fantastic. Second thing second is level 7. Already we aim for level 7 for Fortune Lady Every, so this is a pretty easy card to get. Third things third, it's tuner plus non-tuner monster. It's really broad. So, any of the cards we use for Fortune Lady Every can bring up the Black Rose Dragon. Why would you ever choose Black Rose Dragon instead of Fortune Lady Every? This is when your opponent has a wide swath of very, very annoying cards. This is when you hate them, and you go, fuck you, I'm swiping the entire field clean. We don't need your shit. Your shit can leave. This is what this card does. It just swoosh. Destroy all the cards in the field. Fantastic. Next up, our ace in the hole, Fortune Lady Every. This is specifically 1 tuner plus 1 non-tuner spellcaster monsters. So you have to have a spellcaster in here. It's attack defense times 400. So, let's pull out our little handy dandy calculator. 7 times 400 has 2,800 attack. Already, it's up there. It's nearly at, like, the sort of suggested cap for monsters here. And because it's 400, if it stays on for even just a single thing already, it's 3,200. It's stronger than Blue Eyes White Dragon. It's pretty easy. Even better is its effect. It's fantastic. I love it. It's great. It's a 1-2 punch here. Once per turn, increase the level, yada yada yada. Okay, when this card increases level, you can banish a face-up monster. No specifications. Just, it's on the field, point at somebody. Fuck them. They're gone. They're banished. Most cards people play with, most decks, I've noticed, don't really run banishment. They run graveyard. So this is great. If you have somebody who's been constantly, like, running things in the graveyard, it's really annoying. They're like, here's my card. Whoops, I tributed it. Whoops, it's back again. It's in, it's out, it's doing the hokey pokey. They're shaking it about. You hate that shit. You're like, man, fuck you. Summon Fortune Lady Every. Tell him, no, you're banished. Get out of here. We don't need you. And it's gone. It's great. And it's got wonderful synergy with its second effect. During your opponent's end phase, if this card is in your graveyard, banish 1 other spellcaster monster from your graveyard, special summon this card. Any spellcaster in the graveyard, just banish them. Whoop. You could banish Chaos Witch. Banish Chaos Witch so you can get the other Chaos tokens that are tuners. Have a blast with it. Do whatever you want. You don't even have to synchronize anything with it. You can just banish it. It comes back during their end phase. Do you know what this means? This means after it comes back, it switches to your turn, and then it switches to your standby. So when they kill Fortune Lady Every, you can revenge banish them. You can bring back your Fortune Lady Every, banish their other card, and then while you're wide open go, end of fuck you, and hit them for the 3,000 attack. I'm not kidding. It's that easy. It's that easy. Okay, next up, Chaos Archfiend. 1 light tuner plus 1 non-tuner dark monster. I'll be honest, this one I haven't used it particularly much. It doesn't happen to, like, show up much. It's at, like, an interesting number, level here. It's whatever. If any cards have been banished this turn, this card gains 2,000 attack. Becomes 4,500. This card can attack all monsters your opponent controls, once each. Also, banish any monster destroyed by battle with this card. Once again, banishment all over the place. We're like Oprah. You get banished, you get banished, you get banished, you all get banished. If this card is in its owner's control, leaves the field because of an opponent's card, you can special summon 1 Chaos Synchro monster from the extra deck except for Chaos Archfiend. You can only use this effect of Chaos Archfiend once per turn. This sounds like a great card. I'd love to use it. There's no actual barrier here, it's just I don't usually get much opportunities for a 4-star. Speaking of callbacks, remember Black Rose Dragon? Here's cooler Black Rose Dragon. It's called Ruddy Rose Dragon. Already, the attack and defense are significantly higher. It's 1 tuner plus non-tuner monsters, but we got a bit of a caveat here. This card is synchro summoned. You can banish all cards from the graveyards, and then, if this card was synchro summoned using Black Rose Dragon or a plant synchro, you can destroy all other cards on the field. So really, this is just cooler Black Rose Dragon, because it gets rid of everything except for Ruddy Rose. So it leaves your opponent empty, and completely free. Now, second effect, when your opponent activates a card or an effect that would destroy a card, you contribute this card, negate that activation, special summon 1 Black Rose Dragon from your extra deck or your graveyard. Honestly, it's just good. It's just a good card. This and Rose Dragon are just good cards. One of these days I'm going to figure out a way to make a Rose Dragon deck that I like. One of these days. Next up, Chaos Angel. This one shows up way more because, let me tell you, it's got weird. It's weird. So first things first, 1 tuner plus 1 plus non-tuner lighter dark monsters, except for this card's synchro summon, you can treat 1 light or dark monsters you control as a tuner. You see that first line? It's a lie. You don't need any tuners. As long as you got light monsters and you got dark monsters, let me tell you, most of this deck is a light or a dark monster. As long as you have those on your person and they count up to 10, buddy, you're home free. You've got this made. Now when this card is special summoned, you can target 1 card in the field, banish it. The card gains effects based off the original attributes of the materials used for the synchro summon. If it's mostly light, synchro summons you control are unaffected by monster effects by your opponent. If it's dark, you have the most overpowered shit. I swear to God, if this is made mostly out of dark monsters or entirely out of dark monsters, let me tell you. Monsters you control cannot be destroyed by battle. None of them. Do you know how many people carry around spare lightning storms? Spare Raigekis? Pretty much none. A few people will surprise you with them. But most of the time, there is not much in the way of, like, straight up card effects that nuke monsters. Not regularly. Not in the meta that I see. So, it's honestly, it's overpowered. But that's what you should get for a 4-star, for a 10-star monster with 3,500 attack, you know? It's up there, but it's good. It deserves to be up there. It's a pain in the ass to get to. And now we have the side sauce. This is kind of like, this has the vegetables on the side to the dish. I'm not sure we really, need this, but this is here to, add some variety. This is just Sky Striker Zeke. This is just here. You have to bring it up with a Sky Striker monster. We do have one of those in the extra deck. Let me see, if this card is link summoned, you can target one face-up monster on the field, banish it until your opponent's next end phase. Once per turn, you can target one other card you control. This card attains 1000 attack, then send the targeted card to the graveyard. It's okay. This deck isn't made for it, but it's okay. It's here in case maybe I might want it. More our style is Sky Striker Ace Azalea. 2 light and or dark monsters, already rare in theme. Must be link summoned, can only be special summoned once per turn. If this card is special summoned, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. Then if you have 3 or less spells in your graveyard, send this card to the graveyard. So, once again, this is like, you've got a handful of dud monsters, but they follow up with, the requirements here. You can go, okay, I've got nothing to lose. Fuck it. This 1500 is already stronger than a decent chunk of the lower level monsters I have here. It works, it's alright. And it's, I think that this is a decent enough deck, It's alright. It's pretty cool. It is what it is. But I think that it can be better. I think we get to do a little bit of restructuring. And we are going to get to that in a second. We're going to take an intermission because we've actually been explaining Fortune Ladies, the deck, and the cards itself for a straight hour, actually. So we're going to take a short break. And then I'm going to come back in a couple minutes. And then we're going to do our restructuring, and then we're going to play a couple duels. I will see you guys in a hot second. Alright, everybody. Intermission over. It's time to get into this shit. Let me flip back. There we go. Live screen. So I took notes earlier on what I wanted to do. I had an idea for what we could do for this deck. It's not that big of a restructure. It's just some light maintenance. We're gonna ditch Fortune Lady Light, Fortune Lady Fire, Fortune Lady Water, Solitaire Magician. Let me check my notes again. We're gonna add another Fortune Fairy Ickery. We're gonna add another Gold Sarcophagus. And we are going to add a... Can I spell this correctly? I can't spell, I can't write, I'm illiterate, fuck. We're gonna add a Magician of Dark Illusion on here because we use a lot of spells and stuff. So I'm wondering maybe if we might get some traction with this. And then there was another thing I thought of while I was looking through this before I started stream. I just got this Pixie Night from one of the tickets. And this seems interesting. I'm wondering with this effect, sending a card from the graveyard result of battle, and you select a spell card and you put it on the top of your deck. I'm wondering if we can, like, recycle some Fortune Lady Callings with this. So we're gonna add her in too. We're gonna see if that does anything for us.